So hello everyone. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this video. So basically the title of this video is my extremely productive and enjoyable argument with Tom Burt. And you all know Tom Burt. He's been on my channel for a while, ever since Busco Quadnary. It's crazy that I still have the same channel I had when Busco Quadnary came out. Obviously, I changed the name of the channel back to Battlegans. But it's crazy that I still have the same channel, and I'm still talking to the guy. So obviously, it's always enjoyable to be able to discuss things with people you disagree with, especially if it's something as contentious as politics. So it's always great to be able to argue back and forth with people you disagree with, and I really enjoy that. So basically, what I was thinking was that uh, you know, you know, if you want to change something, the problem I have with this argument is, first of all, to get to the point. I mean, I because I mean, and I've said this to Tom Burke before, through video conferencing. Like I've talked to Tom Bird on Jitsi before. I've talked to Tom Bird on Jitsi before. I've talked to him on Google Meet. I've talked to him on Zoom. So, uh, if this, you know, if this guy, this is not an exaggeration. I mean, I've said to Tom Bird before, through video conferencing that he has a potential to be a billionaire. He downplays his abilities and stuff like that, but he has the potential to be a billionaire. I mean, he's got that level of talent, and I've said that to him before, through video conferencing. He's got the ability to be a billionaire, and the point of what I'm saying is that, if you meet somebody who has the intelligence of Tom Bird, if you meet somebody who has the intelligence of Tom Bird, if he really wanted Trump out of office, he could get Trump out. I'm not. This is not an exaggeration. If Tom Burton really wanted Trump out of office, he could get Trump out of office. You know, uh, he can literally do that. I'm not saying as a I'm not saying as an ominous. I'm not saying as an ominous. He could intelligently and legally and judiciously and thoroughly and uh, constitutionally, he could, if he could start a movement that got Trump, he could start the movement that gets Trump evicted from office, or impeached or whatever. He could literally start that. I see that in him. I see that in him. But he's not going to challenge. He's not going to challenge the status quo. He's not going to challenge the status quo because that's who is paying his bills. I mean, those are people who are employing him. And what I'm saying is, like, you have the ability to do this. You know you have the ability to do this. If Trump really wanted men like Trump out of office, he could get men like Trump out of office. Um, so that's the first thing, and then the second thing is, what was I gonna say? Uh, what was I gonna say? The second thing is, so he could get men like Trump out of office. Well, uh, hmm. So what was I gonna say? Hold on a sec. Okay. So I remember what I was gonna say. A corollary to the fact that he could get Trump out of office if he really wanted to, if he really put his mind to it. A corollary to that is that, you know because he said to me in a comment, he was like, you know, I commented about white privilege. I have certain views about white privilege. I commented about white privilege, and he said he basically blew it off. He said there is no white privilege. Whites are equal with everyone. There is no advantage given to any race of people. Every race of people faces the same exact challenges at the same exact level, and there is no disparity. So, if you believe that, I mean, look, I mean, if that's what Tom Burr believes, look, I voted for Trump twice. I voted for Trump twice. I voted for, in between those two, I voted for Kanye West. People think I'm an extreme Republican, but if this is what Tom Burr believes, if Tom Burr believes that there's no disparity between the races, he's more Republican than I am, and I think that's the real, issue that I think that's a real reason why me and Tom Burr keep having these arguments, is that if you I've met Tom Burr before. I've met his wife, and if you uh if you uh uh if you if you actually look at the way that Tom Burr lives his life, the way that Tom Burr conducts himself, if you look at the way that Tom Burr lives his life, the way he conducts himself, he's a married man. He married before. He married before he married at a younger age before I even had sex. I mean, I'm a 41-year-old virgin, and he's married, and he's married. He's been married for years, at least 5 years, at least 7 years. He's been married at least 7 years. So, uh, uh, so he's a married man. He's not doing the stereotypical liberal stuff. He's not participating in liberal ideology. If you look at the way that Tom Brady actually lives his life, he's actually conservative, and that's the problem that I had. That's the problem that I had when I was younger, and I kept arguing against conservatives when I was younger, and I was subscribing to liberalism. But the reason why I kept arguing with uh, conservatives when I was younger is that I had a contradiction within myself, which is that you know I was supporting liberalism when I was young. I was a Marxist when I was in college, uh, but if you looked at the way that I lived my life, I've been a virgin my entire life. I've never smoked weed. I've never, obviously I've never fornicated. I've never drank alcohol. Uh, I've never been on World Star Hip Hop. I've never, I never did the PPP fraud thing, and I never did the food stamp fraud thing and stuff like that. So if you look at the way that I lived my life, I was a conservative back then. I was pretending to be a liberal because that was a cool thing to do. I didn't want to be left out any more than I already was, which turned out to be a waste of time ultimately. So, uh, uh, so yeah. So I mean, the reason why I was always arguing against conservatives back then is because I was conservative myself. I had a contradiction within myself that had to be worked out. And if you look at the current situation with me and Tom Brady, I love our disagreements. But there's a flaw in them, which is that if you look at Tom Brady's actual beliefs, he believes that there is no disparity between the races. He believes in marriage. He believes in working. I've never held. I'm 41 years old. I've never held down a job in my entire life. The longest time I ever worked on a job was 1 year, and that was in college. So he believes in working. He believes in earning money. He doesn't believe, and I've never seen footage of Tom Bird at a Black Lives Matter rally, or I've certainly never seen him overturning cars or burning down stores and looting stores. I've never seen that video footage. I hope it doesn't exist. But you know, if you look at the way that Tom Brady actually lives his life, he's actually conservative, and that's the real reason why it always irks me when we argue because, you know, in general, really, whenever, you know, and this is gonna sound kind of conscious. This is gonna sound kind of hypocritical coming from an atheist, but whenever liberals argue against conservatives, uh, usually the only criticism they can come up with is that the conservative doesn't act the conservative doesn't act conservative enough, because you cannot insult people it's not possible to insult somebody by saying they don't act liberal enough. It's not possible. So so if you look at the way that Tom Brady actually lives his life, he's a conservative, and you know, he's like this thing. He's got this thing where, well, Trump did this, Trump did that. Well, Obama, Biden, and Clinton all had high taxes. They all had price inflation. They all had illegal wars. They all had sex scandals. They all had using the White House, to profit. They were all profiting off the White House tenure. Barack Obama invaded Tripoli. He invaded Libya. He prosecuted Snowden and Assange. Both of them were okay. He prosecuted Snowden and Assange. Uh, and he violated Pakistan's sovereignty to go after uh, 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 Osama bin Laden. So not so even the holy grail of liberal presidents, Barack Obama, was not perfect. Not to mention that he did the whole thing where he said, if you want to keep your doctor, you can keep your doctor, and he jacked up taxes in order to pay for socialized medicine. So so that's all I want to say for this video. And I'm not, like I said, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this video, but I just want to say that I'm not supposed to be making videos today because today's Saturday. But so whatever. So I just had this on my mind. I didn't want to forget. And have a great day, everyone, and goodbye. Oh yeah, so if you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to. And if you liked the video, please give it a like. If you disliked it, please dislike it. If you would like to share this video in your social media or with your friends and family, please consider doing that. And like I said, it's great to have people that you can argue and disagree with. And it helps me because I have ego issues. I have tunnel vision. I have myopia, not to mention schizophrenia. It's always good to be able to discuss things back and forth with people who disagree with you, just so that you can know. Because when I was a liberal, I thought that my ideology was the only real ideology. And now I'm voting for Trump and Kanye. So that's all I want to say for this video. Have a great day and goodbye.